Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this 21st day of August. Got a great show with you on for tonight. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage here. A lot of news in the college football world. The SEC, I didn't put that in the title. I just saw it this afternoon, but the SEC will be going to 9 games. Want to get the Mad New Yorker's thoughts on the Michigan sanctions that came out late last week. Also, get his thoughts on Jackson Dart, only 2 incompletions, almost perfect in the last game. When is Jackson Dart actually going to start? When is Jackson Dart going to start? Danny Dimes gets a start. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Now it's official. What for Anthony Richardson and a few other things to cover. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll be back here shortly. And we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. Alrighty then, as I bring up the Mad New Yorker, everybody. Hey, how you doing, man? There's a little bit of delay there. Of course, this is how my luck has been. So, folks, yesterday we had an issue with echoing. And you there, Carlos? He's got a delay here on his, but Carlos is in Clarksville right now. He's not at his normal Queens place, so he's seemed like there's a little bit of delay there. So anyways, because of the issues I had last week, I was moving the camera around and the microphone and adjusting the sound. Well, it made an echo come up on Roy's and Roy and Trail Mix. That's what it goes by. Trail's microphone. Carlos will be back with us just a second. I'm going to tell you guys the story anyways. So Roy calls me today after the show we did yesterday. Of course, I went on and put the show out anyway. It's just an echo there. You can still hear what everybody's saying. So Roy says, man, I don't know what it is. He says, checking everything. Long story short, we did a recording, a small recording, a test recording, and got Roy squared away. He got me squared away. He got the show, and I want to thank you, Roy, there for that, because I know we're squared away on my front now. Now, of course, Carlos is having problems on his side of things. Normally, we're good, though. You know, Carlos comes on once a week, just about every single week, and for the most part, he's pretty good here. Also, while he's back there, I did want to say hats off to Odette. Odette, my friend from work, selling me this. Okay, let's see if we get Carlos back up in here. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Crowd loves you, Mike. Crowd loves you, dude. Let's hit the ground running, brother. Let's hit the ground running. You know what? Since you're the Mad New Yorker, Jackson Dart, 2 incompletions the other day. Again, almost perfect. Watched the game. Watched all of his snaps. Phil Simms, very high on him. Very high on the technique of this offensive line. I know Phil's a homer there, a little bit of a optimistic guy, but he did say the line is doing exceptionally well, preseason or not. I like the fact that he's getting rid of the ball quickly. His stat line was 14 to 16, 137 yards, one touchdown, one sack, 123 quarterback rating. My question to you is, do you think, not if you're the general manager, do you think, Carlos, that they will start him at any point this season?
No, not at all. I don't. Um, unless they get they have issues with injuries.
Okay.
I don't think that he would play and start. I mean, I don't think he should. O line is is not stable enough to be. We talked about this last week. That
Yeah, of
O
course.
line doesn't have that much stability, and also the experience that he has in the NFL is he lacks that. So between Winston and Wilson, I feel like that's number one, number two. I feel like DeVito might get the back end of the deal and not be and lose an opportunity of being a backup quarterback for the Giants. But um, I think it's gonna be Wilson, Winston, and then Dart. I don't think DeVito will be on. I think he's on the chopping block, so I don't think he'll be with the team after the cuts are made. So, but I mean, they can always
They
keep
got to play.
DeVito and put Dart on the
Oh,
so
DeVito, the other quarterback. Yeah, I forgot
yeah,
about
yeah,
DeVito.
yeah, yeah. So they could always put Dart on the practice squad, which is what they talked about doing, and
Yeah.
and they've been talking about that in the media. But I don't know. I mean, no matter what happens, I don't feel like this the Dable and Sean are going to be here next season. So,
Hmm.
they it's okay to get excited about your future, but you don't play. New York Giants aren't the Green Bay Packers, and they're not the Chicago Bears. They're not a team from Indianapolis. They're New York. It's like high expectations, got to win, and if you don't, sayonara, man. That's just the way it is. And there's no the development process, the programs that they want. That doesn't exist in New York. It's never has, it never will, and it's just the way it is, man. It's not. It's not gonna happen for the NBA. It's not gonna happen for the NFL. It's not gonna happen for baseball, man. It's just the way it is. You come to New York, the expectations that you got to win, and the likelihood of having a team being developed is very little to next to none. I feel like one of the only places that actually happened has been in Major League Baseball and for the Yankees and also maybe for the Mets in '86. But it's very rare you see a group of young guys and they become winners on
Very
a
young
team.
guys in
Yeah,
'86. That's correct. Yeah.
yeah. So
Strawberry and Doc Gooden. Yeah.
yeah, they had Strawberry Dog Gooding and they had um some Kevin Mitchell. I'm sorry, Kevin Mitchell, and they had a lot of guys on that team that were young. So it was it's different. It's just and
Hmm.
sports is one of those things. It's a chemistry thing too. So you can only be rated in the middle or less than being in the middle to last in New York. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So
If you compare him to a guy like Zach Wilson at this point in his career,
who
I
j-
mean,
who Dart?
yeah, Dart, he's getting rid of the ball, man. Y'all could
Um,
say it the other way. Think about the loud media. What if they start 2-4? They got some pretty tough games. They got to play Washington. This is in the first 6 weeks. Kansas City, the Chargers, the Eagles, week 6 on a Thursday night. What if
I,
they
I
decided to go ahead and play Dart on Sunday against the Denver Broncos or somebody like that?
I don't
Yeah,
look. I don't feel like Sean. I mean, he has nothing to lose. So, but between the coaching staff and the ownership, I think that would be something that they want. They're more on the conservative side. I don't think they'll make a rash decision like that. To be honest with you, if they make that decision due to injuries for some sort of reason, that's on them. But don't expect Dart to be staying healthy either. They might just call up this guy, Johnny Cutlets, and have him finish out the year because if Wilson gets hurt, if Winston gets hurt, and Dart gets hurt, like what do you like? What was your plan to begin with? Like I'm sitting here, everybody's excited. I get it, but you got to be real too. Like that. O line doesn't rank in the top 5 of the NFL.
Yeah.
Why would you put
Well, I
a
didn't
rookie?
last year.
Yeah, I mean,
You
why
know.
would you put why would you put a rookie quarterback behind that line? So, you know, you got to you got to be realistic, and you got to also, if that's the plan for the future, then you got to be able to protect them a little bit. And there has to be a learning curve, and again, that's the biggest and the toughest job to do, because New York doesn't have a development program. They just don't do that. So you're talking, the media's talking, everybody's saying these things about he's gonna play, maybe he's gonna play. That's because there's no development structure set up. That's the
Yeah.
reason why everybody's saying these things. So I don't personally feel like, as a personal decision, if I was a GM, a coach, the best friend of the guy, I don't expect you to start, and I wouldn't be upset if you didn't start. If you're the
Right.
future of the franchise, you got to be treated like you're going to be developed, and that it's going to be for the betterment of the team, to put you in a situation to get better, not to see ghosts, not to get sacked like Carr in Houston when he came out as a rookie quarterback, not to be treated like, like, I can't sit here and say that he's going to be like a Daniels, or he's going to be like a Pat Mahomes, or he's going to be like anybody else. This is Jackson Dart. Like, you know, he wasn't rated to be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL draft pick anyways. So we got to be realistic, and we got to treat him like he is. If he's going to be the one for the future, then we have to treat it like that, and no other way. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying the team won't do it?
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they
Not
will,
if
but
you. Yeah. If the team
and
won't do it, I think they will.
yeah,
I think they're going to play him at some point this year. I think it'll be after week 6 or after their bye week, which is the Giants have a very late bye week this year. It's like after
yes,
week 14 or something. Yeah, maybe perhaps at home week 15. I think possibly they could trade Winston before the start of the season. I think it's that good. Other examples, Dak Prescott looked very good in the preseason. He ended up playing in the regular season. They went 13-3. They didn't do nothing, but they got to the playoffs. They didn't. And who was the other example? Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was like a third round pick, and he ended up winning out his first year with the Seattle Seahawks.
I think
Just
the
having a good preseason, man.
yeah, but I think with a guy like Russell Wilson, he was super athletic, played 2 sports, was I felt like he got the bad end of the stick in draft week anyways, because he went to 2 different schools before COVID situation, so he didn't get that extra. He played in 2 different schools, so I think those things affected his draft pick. He probably should have gone in the first round anyways, or even the top of the second round. So I don't think Jackson Dart was high in anybody's list to go in the second round. I mean, maybe some people's list, but and I get it. He broke Eli Manning's records at Ole Miss. He
Mm-hmm.
has a heck of an arm, but this is the NFL, man. These guys are 300 plus. They coming in at speed, and it just takes one hit. You sit here and we talk about all these guys that have done great, but we also have to look at guys that have been, you know, who gotten jacked up. Joe Burrow, Tua, a lot of these guys missing games. What's this guy in Houston? He had a few injuries
Well,
last
he
season.
got to the playoffs and won a game his rookie year. Shroud
Yeah,
did.
yeah, but last year he didn't play like he played the first year, his rookie season. So
Yeah.
you know,
But he still won a playoff game last year. He beat the Chargers.
right, but he had a couple.
He
He
had a
had a
setback a
couple.
little bit.
Yeah, and then he wasn't injured, but he had a few issues. And then this guy in the L.A. Chargers, what's his? I always forget his
Herbert.
name. Herbert, so, and he was a top pick. These are guys who are top picks. So I feel like let it be, let the media talk, let everybody just say what they need to say. But if you're the New York Giants and you're looking towards moving from Schoen and Dable, and this is their pick, this is their guy that they picked, you have to protect yourself now, and you have to set yourself up knowing that this guy is sitting at the wings ready to come in, but don't force it because the you've seen what the Jets did with their picks. You know, you mentioned a couple Wilson and then Darno, and then like it's development is important, and if you don't start now, when will you do it for a guy that you're that you're touting is a very good pick? If you don't do it now, then when? Because if you're just
Right.
gonna stick him in the game, you should have just picked anybody to be your quarterback at the end of the day. So
Okay. Point well taken. Got to move on there, Chief, because we had some delay problems, which has been my luck here lately. I wanted to ask you this. Shador Sanders, great game week before last. Dylan Gabriel, not a bad game last week. I think Shador's going to start again this particular week, if I'm not mistaken, back from that oblique. Gabriel, the the interception and the fumble didn't look good, but he looked pretty good other than that. He, lady asked him a question. He goes in, makes a wild comment. I'm going to let you listen to it, see what you think about entertainers and, of course, competitors and entertainers. He tried to backtrack and say that was just a shot at the media. I don't buy it. I want to get your opinion. I had the guys talk about it last night, but I want to see what you think. Here we go. Listen up.
Noise, and you don't let it infiltrate yourself. Will you share that with everybody at home?
Yeah, I think it's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but you know, it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do. You know, all you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do, and I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well.
So you get it. He said he was a competitor. Do you want to hear the front part again, the first of it?
no, I heard it, and
Okay, was it a shot at the media or a shot at Shador? I think it was a shot at Shador.
I think it was choose who you think they should go to. Like it's kind of like choose your own adventure stories, bro. Just who you think. Like at the end of the day, he should have just kept his mouth shut and just said, hey, I'm hoping that my play is good on the field, and I'm hoping that everything works out off the field, and I hope to be on the team. I don't understand why these guys have to talk so much and say things that that can seem that can look bad or can be
Yeah. They're
mistaken for
addicted to
anything
that
else.
fame, to going viral. He knows what he was doing. Did you see that grin on his face? I think he did it on purpose.
Of
He
course, he
took a
did it.
shot at Shador.
Yeah, and like it's gonna look bad on him if he doesn't make the team. And look at the end, I don't think
Yeah.
Shador is gonna make the team either. I think he's gonna get shopped. I feel like that's why they're playing him. I feel like the Browns, the actual management and actual coaches staff don't want him there.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much media. It's too much of a hassle to try to get things organized when everybody's talking about Shador,
Too
Shador,
much of a
Shador. So
circus around him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I just and it takes away from the team aspect and what they're trying to get done there and build. So yeah, I mean, I think he also grinned knowing that he has a better chance of being on that squad than Shador does. But man, those two might not even be on a team, to be honest with you. So, you know, that's the reality of it.
I couldn't tell you what they're going to do with Gabriel. I think they can possibly move Kenny Pickett and keep Gabriel and Shador, and they'll have they're still going to have Deshaun Watson on an injured reserve. He won't count against the roster. They could potentially carry three quarterbacks and maybe move another one of those other quarterbacks by the trade deadline. I think Shador looks like a guy that the owner's got a lot of say in this. He is the owner. Got a feeling he could stay, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe the management talks
Well,
Mr. Haslam out of moving him.
yeah. My question to you is, what are your thoughts about Kenny Pickett? Because this guy got picked at high, a little higher than I feel like he should have, and now he's
Yeah, he did.
what is he? This almost what this gonna be his fourth year in the league, fifth.
Yeah. I think it's the fifth. But here's my thing about him. Maybe the fourth, actually. Seemed like Pittsburgh gave up on him pretty quickly. Pickett, I may have gotten a little too caught up into the NCAA changing the rule because he did the fake slide at Pittsburgh. Looked like a really good run. I did not pay attention enough to his throwing out of the pocket. That was more of a good storyline. He come from University of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers needed a quarterback. I got caught up into that hype too. The guy really is not a quick read and react type of quarterback. I didn't like the way he acted character-wise. Show some immaturity with the Steelers there. That's why they moved on from him. And it was pretty obvious that the Eagles didn't have a lot of patience with him. They let him move on this year. Then again, maybe he's doing well in camp. Maybe he's going to get some playing time on Friday. We'll see. Or this weekend, I'm not sure when they play. I know they play. It's just a big game. It's the most interesting preseason story I followed in a long time, this Cleveland quarterback saga. Yeah. But Pickett, I'm not really worried about him as much. I think he will be the guy they'll move. Just not really that good of an NFL quarterback as of right now. He was overdrafted at the first pick, and Shador's way underdrafted. Shador looks better than Pickett now, if you ask me, from that small sample size. He's got that offense and speed. So, you good?
Excuse me. No, but
you come to Nashville, come to Middle Tennessee, and the allergies start to bother you. Yeah.
No, I'm just allergic to that answer. No, I'm not just kidding. No, but here's the thing, though. You're talking about a guy that's been around the league now because he got Super Bowl ring. So, I mean, I know it's not much because he wasn't on the field as much, but that counts for something. His career is still kind of developing. Again, his career is developing, but he hasn't been developed correctly. He hasn't been in a situation where his skills can be used at the utmost level. And I feel like that happens a lot with these quarterbacks that come in. So these offensive coordinators, they want one thing, but these quarterbacks, they're set up for something else. And you cannot, and in the NFL, you can't be a rookie quarterback and be like, and you can't come in with the mindset saying, well, I don't know how to do what you want me to do, or I'm not getting what what you want me to do. So you have to do your best to get the work done and try to fit in. And I feel like that's the story of the life of a lot of quarterbacks. I mentioned the Jets quarterbacks, Wilson and Darno. Like Wilson, I'm not sure what's going to happen to him. He didn't have he's not having an easy road because the Jets don't develop quarterbacks. And Darno has had a pretty decent situation. But again, because of his past, people are gonna always, have that. Oh well,
Watson. Who?
No, I'm talking Darno, Sam Darnold.
Oh, Darnold.
Yeah, and then
I thought you said Darnell. I'm like, who is Darnell?
No, Darnold. And then you have Geno Smith, the same thing. He hadn't been a good, he's just been around everywhere, and then finally he's, kind of settled
That's
in.
a good point. Maybe Will Levis will turn into a quarterback for somebody, next year.
So it's just, Pickett. I feel like Pickett might have his rating will be a little bit higher, and I don't know if they want to stay with Gabriel, to be honest with you. And I think he's just trying to talk game to try to build
Gabriel on a rookie contract, man. So
yeah, but they can stick him on the practice squad. He doesn't have to be on the roster, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's true. He could be a practice squad guy. That's a good point. Good point there. Gig for being there. Little cadence reference. Let me see. We got to move a little bit quicker here. All right. Anthony Richardson, as I predicted a few weeks ago when I saw him get blasted in that preseason game, not picking up on a basic hot route, that I thought that Daniel Jones would get the starting job. Anthony Richardson going to be out of a job. What's your thoughts about that decision? How raw is Richardson coming into year 3?
Yeah, that's a situation there. Another situation with the QB issues. The team isn't really structured correctly. The owners passed away. Now his daughter's involved in this situation.
Yeah.
It's too chaotic to try to get anything done right correctly that way. And if you go by the history of Daniel Jones, I'm not sure he's set up to be a starter in the NFL, but he's there. He has opportunity. Maybe that's going to be part of his development story is that he was able to go to Indianapolis and getting straightened out and be the player he was supposed to be. But I don't trust any guy coming out of the ACC, out of Duke or North Carolina. Like I wouldn't ever put any of those guys in the situation to be an NFL starter, because I don't think there's been any one guy from an NCAA ACC basketball school that's been a great quarterback and has won a Super Bowl. So, but that's just
Yeah.
me.
Well, you're already giving up on the quarterback there for the Patriots.
Yeah, like I didn't think he should have been. I think the Patriots picked him just to say that they picked a player in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
and they try to look to somebody that looked like Tom Brady and play like Tom Brady and could maybe be another Tom Brady. But I don't think he's the guy. So,
Yeah,
and I
I
tell
think
people that all the
Drake
time.
May's going to
So,
break out this year, man. But that's
nah, I
crazy
don't. I
talk
don't.
right there.
I think the Patriots, the Jets, the Giants, and Indianapolis is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So
Oh
I need
man,
draft
I'm
picks.
totally dis. I mean, the Patriots, Trayvon Henderson, that running back is running like he was shot out of a can. He looks like a steal. He
Oh,
looks like a better player than the guy the Raiders drafted at 6.
yeah, I don't doubt that there's going to be some players getting some fantasy points for the Patriots, but it's a fantasy to believe that they'll be in a Super Bowl run or a playoff
Yeah.
run. That's for sure. So
Okay. All right. I think Anthony Richardson is going to be a backup. He may end up having to play for one of these other leagues.
right,
Daniel Jones
but we
probably they're going to be good enough not to be good enough, and this lady's going to get real frustrated and probably fire a lot of people, even though they win 6 or 7, maybe 8 games, and not be in good position to get a quarterback high.
look, Robert. I think we talked about
Defensive
Anthony
line's
Richardson.
good, and offensive line's good.
I
Yeah,
remember we did that draft pick. We talked about Anthony Richardson and how high he got drafted. And I don't think
at
I'm
4,
not sure.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Like, remember we were like, well, he's a project, and it was will Indianapolis be able to develop him? Remember we talked about, it, and then it doesn't matter how athletic he is, and like
yeah,
he has a little bit of accuracy issues, and he can run, but is that team set up to run? Remember we talked about it, like in the
yeah.
draft show, and I don't know if you guys can go back
Yes,
that
yes.
far.
Well, remember
So
he only had 1 year at
and we
Florida.
you that's right, and you and I both said that he's probably more likely to be a backup before he's a starter in the next few years. And look where we're at
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
it.
we
So
had that right. But I will say this: the reason why they took him at the time, I said, because he's built like Jalen Hurts,
right,
ran like Jalen
yes,
Hurts, but not
I remember that.
quite Jalen Hurts. Like you said, if this now you want to get a guy that looks like Tom Brady, but not quite Tom Brady. Daniel Jones looks like Eli Manning, but not quite the skill set, and he did
That's right.
not have that. Don't want to spend a lot of time on that one because the next topic here wanted to get you on there, Captain Kangaroo. Let's see, Michigan. Michigan
Yeah,
got. Some people said it was a light slap on the wrist. I thought it was a little bit heavy-handed, considering the fact that sign stealing from a lower end, this Connor Stallings or whatever assistant there with the Michigan staff. Why don't you change your signs? Why would you keep the same signs anyways? Plus, and the other part they got hit with was, remember the stuff they violated some of the COVID rules and all that, which is a bunch of
right.
nonsense. I thought it was pretty heavy-handed. $30 million show calls for. I mean, Harbaugh, 14 years. He's not coming back to college. Pretty much a 14-year ban, and then you've got some suspensions there from I think 3 games, if I'm not mistaken. Sharon Moore. I thought it was a little heavy-handed. What's your thoughts on this Michigan? Most people are calling it a slap on the wrist, I'll have to say. This sanctions that got handed down late last week, I think Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I feel it's a much ado about nothing in the money grab from the NCAA.
Okay.
And I say that,
Yeah, same thing here.
yeah, and I say that in a sense where it's not that they weren't cheating and they don't want to be seen as cheaters. It's the fact that you were going after a scapegoat. Like, you were fine. The Michigan sent somebody out there and be like, this is the guy who messed up. This is who's responsible. But I mean, they can't go back and take away championship status
And they
or
didn't
like
vacate wins. No wins,
right
no
and vacate
championship.
wins. So they had to do something. So that was their out. Their out was, hey, you're not. We're not gonna ruin your legacy as a university, but we were gonna just charge the heck out of you and just grab as much money as we can. That will kind of affect your, like your team and how it's gonna be built in the next few years. But
Yeah.
that the next 2 years, there's still gonna be a 10
Well, you're
school
fading out a little
NCAA
bit,
football
brother.
Division
Oh,
One.
there
So
you are. Okay.
yeah,
A little bit
yeah.
of
So
delay there.
I mean, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna affect them. Maybe this year, next year, maybe it's gonna affect them for the next 2 seasons. But they have enough alumni. They have enough backing from the community. They have enough backing from the university to keep them, afloat. This isn't a team that like a SMU or a school like BYU that if you take this, you
Right.
hand out
Right.
all these mandates that will fall apart. So
Yeah. They got a
like money
five-star
grab
commitment
at the
this week.
end. Um,
Also,
yeah,
I wanted to, okay. Yeah, a little bit of delay there, Chief, but I want to say this before I lose track of thought. Urban Meyer throwing a little salt in the game here, said on a podcast yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, that Jim Tressel, remember, Jim Tressel was essentially fired from Ohio State back in 2011 for tattoo scandal at Ohio State. Let me make sure I get this right here before I start making stuff up here. Okay, suspended 6 games since Jim Tressel, the national championship coach, 2011, essentially fired from Ohio State for players trading in Michigan or Ohio State memorabilia for tattoos. Okay, Tressel takes he takes a job with it's like some kind of film editor or whatever, some small lower end job with the Colts. Then the commissioner Cadell suspends him for 6 games. Urban Meyer saying, does that affect Jim Harbaugh? Will he get suspended by the league? And my thing is, the league was more strict then on stuff like that, button in stuff. I don't think that'll happen. It could happen. It could happen since Urban Meyer, I think he's really throwing a little Ohio State, Michigan shade
I
there,
don't. I'm
bringing
about to
that
say
up.
this.
What do you
Look, I
think
don't
about that, Mike?
think that Harbaugh will be affected by this situation in the NFL, except for that
Okay.
how coaches will view him, and also maybe if it doesn't work out for him in LA, he might not be able to be a head coach because a lot of these coaches have ties to the university anyway, to different universities
Yeah.
nationwide. So he might not be able to get rehired as a head coach if he no longer coaches the Chargers, not because of any kind of suspension, but because it's a it's about who you know, and and that and probably between his age and what has happened in prior universities, I think that maybe LA will be his last stop as a head coach, to be honest with you. So
Yeah, he very well made this play out Herbert's career, maybe win a Super Bowl or something of that nature, and then retire at maybe like 75 or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell what Harbaugh's going to do. Very competitive.
right.
Um, I think he may say something to Urban Meyer if he ever saw him, but it's Urban Meyer sounded a little jealous of Jim Harbaugh.
Well,
That's a
Urban
tough
Meyer.
call. Who would you take, Urban Meyer or Jim Harbaugh? Right now, I'll take Jim Harbaugh because Urban Meyer failed miserable. He failed so bad in the NFL that made him look bad. And Urban Meyer, look how bad it looked when he left Florida with all those players in trouble. And then the same thing at Ohio State.
I think for Urban Meyer, it was that he thought he could do whatever he wanted,
Yeah,
and that he thought that because the situation he was in, that nobody would say anything. But you can't, you know, with that kind of power and leadership, you need to produce, and you're surrounded by you were surrounded by students or professional football players. So he didn't keep it professional, which is why he got fired. So
yeah.
as long as you keep it professional and be real, um, you're more likely to keep your job. So
Who would you take, Urban Meyer or Jim Harbaugh?
or Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Um, at this rate, at this time, if you're talking about going back to a college university, I'd take Urban Meyer. But if you're talking about going into an NFL situation, I would take Harbaugh. They're two
Okay.
different minds playing
Overall,
two different.
overall, who's a better coach, man? Harbaugh or Jim? If you just had to pick
I
one,
think
not for the NFL,
I
not
would
for
I would
college.
I think Urban Meyer is a better coach.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I don't think I
Maybe
don't think he, I
maybe
don't think he's a
if he would have been a little
I
bit
don't think
more
he's a
patient.
better. Yeah, I don't think he's a better person, but I just think he was a better coach. Like you
Well, he's
can't
got three titles to one, but still,
like
I'm
he
looking
did
at
what he
full
no,
body of work.
yeah, well, no matter where Urban Meyer went, he was in the running for a championship, except for when he went into the NFL.
Yeah, and he couldn't even finish the season. It was so bad. But
So,
my thing is, Harbaugh's a better overall coach because he's successful in the NFL. Especially especially if he can win a Super Bowl. I think
yeah,
that would definitely separate him from Urban Meyer.
right. And then I feel like this Harbaugh was a quarterback in the NFL
Yeah.
at the highest point, and when the NFL was tough. That's why he gets more credit because he was actually on the field and he got the snot beat out of him when he was with Chicago, when he was with Indianapolis, and all those, and even when he was with the Ravens. So that's why he gets a little bit more respect from players. But at the end, like if I'm looking at it from the outside, him playing
Yeah.
in the NFL does have nothing to do with the fact that Urban Meyer has won and changed cultures and universities when he's been there to be winning.
Okay. Yeah.
So
He's a better turnaround coach, much quicker there, very intense. That's why he got those heart issues. The SEC today announced that they're going to go to 9 games in conference. That's more potential of Tennessee, Florida playing, keeping some of the rivals alive, a better chance there. By the way, let's see. I want to say the Big Ten. Yeah, the Big Ten and the Big 12 have already had
already doing that.
9 games. I think it's a great thing. What's your thoughts about that? Is it too much for the SEC
I
to
think
have
it's
the 9
I think
games?
it's no, I think it's perfect because it takes away from that idea that they're gonna just get one game playing a smaller regional school, and try to take advantage of that, and
One
then
less Mercer
that
in there or Austin P.
yeah, they're not be scheduling Austin P Mercer or UT Martin, like even though they should get an opportunity to play these teams, but you're now it's become more serious, right? Now you have to win with teams in your conference. But again, even if they do that, that doesn't mean that Vanderbilt, Kentucky, SEMO, A&M, like those teams that are like been struggling to get to the top of the SEC are gonna be. It's gonna balance it out. I think they're still gonna have those issues at those schools. So
I'm talking
we'll
about
see
just
what
for
happens.
fans' sake. There's still a
I,
chance that Oklahoma and Texas can keep that rival up going.
yeah,
Tennessee can play Florida every year. Alabama can play Auburn every year.
yeah. LSU plays Florida.
LSU Florida's a close one.
Yeah, I mean, but again, there's gonna be those struggling years where the smaller schools, Ole Miss, Arkansas, um, they're gonna, Kentucky, you're gonna be like, why we got to see this again? Like they're having
Yeah,
bad years. Why do we have to see this? So hopefully they can step it up. Hopefully those teams can take advantage of NIL and step it up and and try to be as competitive. And I think that's the point that they're trying to do, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, to be honest with you. So
yeah, yeah. Well, I will see what happens. This is going to start, folks, next year. I cannot wait. Things just keep getting better in the wide world of college football. A friend of mine at work, lady friend here, Odette Heller, wanted to give you a shout out. She pointed out a story to me earlier this week about the Minnesota Vikings cheerleading squad
Mm.
has two males on this team there. And as she was telling me about it, today's Thursday, like on Monday, she mentioned that, or Tuesday, as the weeks went on, I'm starting to see more and more stuff, videos of this. And college, we're just talking about college football. It's okay for male cheerleaders to have like the big giant plastic, what do you call it? Like a bullhorn thing, or I don't know what you call it. Megaphone plastic. They're hollering at the crowd and they're flipping the cheerleaders up and down. This is a totally different situation. I actually got a clip here from TikTok and let you be the judge of this uh, fiasco. So I'll let you go before that, and then I'm going to tee off here. What's your thoughts about that?
So I was, my thoughts is, and I'm gonna agree with a reporter who mentioned this. She was female. She was like, she was all right with the male cheerleaders and about how they were, and when she was going to school and she was cheering, that they were they're doing the stunts, and they were part of the team, and they were there to help
Yes,
the girls
yes,
flips. But to have male cheerleaders dancing that didn't exist. And she made it sound and she also said that it was offensive because they're making it sound like the dance being part of a dance team is easy enough that even a man can do it. And um and she was offended because it was like, well, the dancers are usually females,
yeah.
and they're out there, and even though they're in provocative wear, she finds it offensive that the males doing this now, the dancers that are out there now, that it's they're showing off, they don't have anything to show but being muscular, and as they're not as attractive. And to me, what I'm thinking is, okay, for you talk about equality, so you can't have it both ways at the end of the day. But look, if this is what was brought, this is what has come about because everybody wants equality, and is what it
Yeah.
is now. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. If you like it and you want to support it, support it. But at the end of the day, it's already out there. So
Yeah.
What are the reactions that other NFL teams are going to do? Are they going to support this action and have male dances with the female dancing cheerleaders, or are they, are they going to support that, or are they not? And if this is something that's going to happen, then you don't have to have your child, or you don't have to watch the show while it's going on, and and do something else because it's already going to be there. So I
Yeah.
don't. I feel for people who are who are uber and ultra conservative, but I also feel for people who are the other spectrum. Is like this is something that came about, and it's equality. You always talking about equality, and so now you have it. So that is what it is.
Yeah. I just think that, well, yeah, Odette, my friend Odette, and it's funny that the women are more offended by this than I thought they would be.
Yes.
And so she says, she sends me this from Vikings Power Play. It's under trending on Facebook that many Minnesota Vikings fans have announced they're canceling their season tickets after the team began hiring male cheerleaders. Minnesota is one of the first teams to bring male cheerleaders onto the squad in an effort to promote gender equality, like you said. Head coach sends a 5-word message to fans, details the comments here. Uh, so my thing is, I'm not mad at the two male cheerleaders. I'm mad at the person who didn't have the backbone that's working in the organization who thought this was a good idea to put these guys on the team. You know, that's what I would be irritated with. It's just another thing where, and this is my opinion, the NFL spits in the face of 99% of the fan base. My guess is, and I was just talking about with a friend Roy, we were doing a sound check, and I told him I'd talk about this topic, and he said they need to ban that. And I said, yeah. I mean, my guess is the rest of the NFL, the other owners, they're probably going to say, okay, Minnesota, you can do that, but we're going to talk to the TV people, and we got these national. Do not show these guys on there. People do not want to see that. Okay, it's sex appeal. It's what the audience likes. Other women. You just said you mentioned a woman there. I mentioned a lady friend. Women are actually more offended than like I initially thought about it. And there's people out here that have this idea that this stuff is a good idea. Just like there was a executive with Bud Light a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I think it was a year ago, to put a transgender to be the face of their beer, and they lost a ton of money for that. Just spit right in the face of the consumer, and the lady was finally removed who did that. It's not the person that ate Dylan Mulvaney. It's not that. It's the person who does these decisions and thinks it's okay. It's just and my thing is with the NFL is, who are you trying to win over? I just read what my lady friend sent me that my Minnesota Vikings fans are doing away with season tickets there. I don't know what those numbers are, but nobody will. If you did a poll, no, I'd say 90%, 99% don't want to see that. So you're trying to win one or two and lose 50 for that one or two. If you want to gain fans, continue the international thing. We've got international football games constantly. I drive Uber. I'm meeting people from all over Europe that say, yeah, I like American football. I'm starting to like. Remember Dan Dave? Dan Dave, big American, the late great Dan Dave Harris, big American football fan. But to try to win these people over that you're probably not going to win over and backhand your traditional fan base is despicable to me. I think about putting stop racism in the end zone. What is that supposed to accomplish? So I'm supposed to just say, oh, all right, well, you want to. I think, hey man, listen, I saw something in the end zone at the football game the other day, and I noticed how you treat it. I mean, it's get this. Like I said about ESPN, there's so many stories in the league. The league itself is so good. Gambling, fantasy, players getting wealthy, buy a mama house. There's so many good stories. Stop trying to push these social uh, topics and political issues in your league here. There's just no. It's just a downhill battle. It's an uphill battle. Excuse me. It's just an uphill battle, and I think the league needs to weed out these idiots that are pushing this stuff. Man, personally, I know it's a long-winded answer, but
And listen, I
ask me
mean,
about it. I didn't even know about it. You know?
yeah, I mean, I just want to watch football, man. Like, we just want to
Yeah,
watch
I just
football.
watched the game. That's keep it
Um,
simple.
yeah, and we had a tragedy back in 9/11. They stopped
Yeah,
baseball. There was the everybody united, the leagues united.
loved it.
They started over the football games. They started over the baseball games, and it was different, right? We all got united. It was something that we could all get behind. But these kind of things, man, they're separating the fans from the sport in different ways and ideologies. And I don't. What's it for at the end of the day, man? Like, I'm a sports fan. I want to watch the game, and that's
Yeah,
it. Everything else in between, I don't have time for, and I will worry about that in my own community, in my own way, and I think that's just the way it is. Like, so. But
yeah,
that's me. That's how I live. That's my life, and that's how I see it. But I guess other people would like it to be more of a social um, concept to
yeah,
push ideologies and issues and different concepts. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's fair for somebody who says, "Hey, let's find a cure for cancer and let's have the NFL support that," to go on the other spectrum, be like, "Hey, there should be male dancers as well." Like
I know.
that.
I would never thought that those two things
Like,
coincided. I
and to
mean,
be
most people want there to be a cure for cancer. Now, I know that they have the little pink shoes for breast cancer and all that.
right in October, yeah, they have the
Yeah,
pink the
yeah. I know
cure for
basketball does that too.
the,
So
the catch for the cure. Yeah, even baseball, Major League Baseball, they have stand up for cancer. Like, but again, I don't know, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, I just want to watch the game, man. So, like,
yeah, yeah. And I
can't
love
wait
the
to.
purity of it.
Yeah,
And
so
you know, I just think that there has to be more backbone in these organizations and not listen to these fringe groups here who I just think try to run the game and try to get their own agenda. I thought that a lot about the Kaepernick stuff. People trying to get their own agenda done rather than solving the problem or
right.
exacerbating the problem. Rather, and the NFL falls for that stuff. The weak leadership falls for that, and really ticks me off. I want to ask you, man. You mentioned something. Are you going to be in Clarksville till Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I'll be here till Tuesday. That's right.
Okay. I do have a potential friend of mine that I may hang out with Saturday night, but I gotta make sure and check out with her. But if not, um, what do you think about maybe doing a show talking about your college football teams? You think we can do a special edition? We can record it that can win a national championship, playoff teams. I know you mentioned some. I've had some edits to do to mine. I've got my Phil Steele magazine. Um, you're right about Alabama. As a side note, Pro Football Focus has them rated as the number one defense coming in the league. I was very surprised by that, but I was wanting to say like we could do something like that, maybe at like a Buffalo Wild Wings Saturday, do a show from there. I've got some stands. You could do it on your phone. I do it. We'll be across the table, but we could show everybody we're in the same place. I come on your side. Hey, what's up? And then we can kind of do it that way. Possibly Saturday night. If my friend is she's got to work or whatever. But if not, we could do that show next week or whatever. But we could record it Saturday and I can play it next week, and we can do another show next week at Thursday. But that would be kind of cool to do that. I'm trying to get out more and do more shows out and about. That's going to be the goal for the future, going to locations. You're right about Austin invited me to an event, but you know how our friend Austin is. You never know if it's BS or what. He invited me to something Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. You know, Austin Jabal from
Knoxville.
from Tennessee. You know, and I went to church with him. Last time he invited me to an event, he was totally full of crap at the University of Tennessee, and I forgave him for it. But could you possibly do that Saturday night?
Yeah, man, I'm game. You know, we'll just put something together and we'll keep in touch and let's try it. I want to do it. Plus, I
right.
want to see where we are at this championship, where we meet up at this championship series.
Yeah. I've been working on that all week. I've got the Field Steel magazine. I've got notes of teams. Maybe since we cover so much Tennessee, even though I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, we could still give a preview of your thought of where the Vols are going to land. Since a lot of people that like Tennessee, and maybe throw in a Notre Dame, somebody like that to add to that. I'll carry my magazine up there. If my friend wants to hang out, which I told her I was going to hang out last month, and I didn't get a chance to because I've been moving in this giant apartment here. I'm just still getting settled in, as you can see. But anything else you need to add, Chief? We're doing good on time. We're managing well.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting excited. I just started my notes and got everything together. I'm here in Tennessee, and I'm gonna do this show here, talk about like the baseball, what the Mets are doing, what the Yankees are doing, and just hopefully we get to do the Saturday show. And look, man, fantasy league started, everything's going on. The pick'ems have started, where the college football and it's all go. Fall season's here, people. I know it don't feel like it some places you're at, but
It's really hot.
everybody's I've been around here, like a lot of the students are in school, they're excited for football. My niece is in college, she's up in Indiana, she's excited for football.
Nice.
I got my nephew who just moved to Indiana, who's his little brother. He's playing football in high school for.
What's your niece and nephew's name? I'll give them a shout out with the sound off real quick.
Yeah, the Lanson family is Sophia Lanson and Ari Lanson. They're doing their
first year college,
second year college, and yeah,
that's what's up.
And big things.
Yeah. I will get back to you probably tomorrow or Saturday. If not, reach out to me Saturday morning. We will figure something out. If I can't make it, we'll definitely do a show, obviously, next Thursday. But I sure would like to record that show. That would be pretty cool. I'll carry some stands up there, and we'll hook somebody up, whoever our waitress is, and do a 45-minute show, something like that. If not, the next time you come down, we'll do a show outdoors somewhere. So that's a good idea, by the way.
Yeah, man. I'm game.
I'm getting some new cards made. Get some laminated cards. I'm going to put them in the back of my car for people to do QR code scans. Working on that Friday as well. To build this program up, man.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Of course. Thanks. The Mad New Yorker, everybody. One more shout. Bloop. Is that what you say? Thanks, man. Thanks, everybody.